I'm offended by my own presence. I am offended by my own presence because I'm a white woman and I can't pass the standards anymore. And I am going to officially adopt the standards of the Academy Awards slash Oscars because well, they're the pinnacle. And even though I still have the 100,000 subscriber plaque in the box from YouTube that I got last
Oh,
year,
you
I
got one
still
of
haven't
those?
opened it. Still haven't opened it. Yep. I've decided, you know what, since I haven't opened it, I'm throwing it out and I'm going for an Oscar. But I can't go for an Oscar because I'm only one thing, which is a woman, and I don't think that's enough anymore. So Felix Montano, Hollywood refugee who probably could
Well,
get an
actually, I
Oscar.
check all the boxes.
You check all the boxes, but you fled Hollywood, so it's too late. So
I
I
check
want to
all the
show
boxes. I fled it because, yeah, that's an interesting. It's ironic, isn't it?
it
Go
is.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's go first so people know what we're talking about. Let's go to this announcement from the Oscars, from the Academy. The inclusion rules, is that what we're calling them? The Academy inclusion standards will be required for best picture consideration. However, meeting inclusion thresholds will not be required for
I don't.
eligibility in the best picture
Yeah,
category.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
until 2024, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you got to meet 2 out of 4 of the following standards. Standard A is on-screen representation, themes, and narrative. So basically, this is like in the actual movie itself, right? In the actual movie itself, you
Yes.
have to have a lead or significant supporting actor that is one of these things. And I'll just Asian, Hispanic, Black, Indigenous, Native American, Middle Eastern, North African, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, or quote, underrepresented race or ethnicity, other. And then general ensemble cast has to have 30% of all actors in secondary and minor roles are from at least 2 of the following underrepresented groups: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ plus, people with cognitive or physical disabilities or who are deaf or hard of hearing, and A3 main storyline subject matter. The main storyline theme or narrative of the film is centered on an underrepresented group: women, racial, ethnic group, LGBTQ plus, people with cognitive or physical disabilities who are deaf or hard of hearing. The next is basically the same standards for creative leadership and project team, and then also industry
This
access
is. It's
opportunity,
already pissing me off so much right now. Go
and
ahead.
then audience development. So that does that mean they're going to go through the audience and see who goes to your film, and then if your if your audience doesn't match up?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Well, yeah. I mean, wokeness should start at the box office when you buy your ticket. How woke is your theater? Who are they
So,
letting in? And
all
also,
right.
just yeah,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, no. I mean, it just makes me so angry. This whole thing. It's just I'm so. Um, I mean,
Does anyone watch the Oscars anymore?
no, no. They had like their lowest ratings this year too. No. Um, but the thing is that bothers me so much is that don't we have categories for all of this? I mean, well, we do have foreign language film, we have foreign film, I mean, we have docu. We're already no, I guess I don't know. It's just stupid. It's just woke.
Put
The
your thoughts
DEI
together,
thing.
Felix.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thoughts together.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just like this is so ridiculous because the whole thing about there's also a big debate about independent films and people who are. If you're making a film, if you're an independent producer and making a film, you've got to like scrape and scratch together like all of these the crew members, the practically the actors too. You can't be this kind of woke. You know what I'm saying? It's like they said in one of these pieces that the big studios don't have a problem meeting all of this. It's the smaller people and the smaller producers and the smaller independent labels or companies that are going to have a harder time having to meet this criteria. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to scrimp and scrape and try to get whoever's willing to do the job. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. So this is a good question from the Erie Fairy. So a movie set in Scotland would need a Korean actor in there somewhere. At what point does that become I'm just curious in your opinion, like what do you think about that? If that I mean, does that change the? Is that an issue in your? I guess that's the way I'll pose it.
In my opinion,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's what these. That's why they always What was the movie that was up for the Oscar this year? The Irish one. But they're saying that that all the movies met one of the standards, or one of the columns, A, B, or C, right? That's what they're saying about the movies that have met the hurdle. You know what I mean?
It is kind of interesting to think about, because like, say you went back to, what was that movie about the Marys, Queen of Scots, which was a great movie. Remember, did you see that movie, Mary, Queen of Scots?
No.
I thought it was a great movie. As somebody who has a little bit of Scots Irish, a lot actually in my background, trying to keep my head on my shoulders, but I thought they did a great job. But what if, like, could that movie win? Could that movie even pass anymore? Probably not. And if you changed what everybody looked like historically in that movie, then it would be historically inaccurate, but you could then win an Oscar. Is that kind of, that's one of the things that makes this a little
that's
odd.
a thing. But that the Academy is doing this after BAFTA already did this in England. BAFTA is already implementing these inclusion rules in England. So that's interesting.
That's where they got it.
I mean, because, I don't know how. I mean, it's just weird. It's like I'm watching Marie Antoinette right now, the PBS Marie Antoinette, which is actually really good. Suddenly there's like, they're going to have a Mexican show up in it or something. But again, they're not saying it has to be on screen. You have to have it on the crew and on down the line, below the line, below the main line. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, if you're in Scotland, where are you going to get all of this diversity to be on your crew and everything else? So you have to bring people from other countries and other places, I guess.
Well, you might be able to find diversity in Scotland. It's just that if Mary, Queen of Scots, was a really white lady who like would turn bright lobster red like the Canadians on Miami Beach during spring break, then would it be historically inaccurate to have somebody else play her? And does that bother anybody? Maybe it doesn't. This is a headline from the Hollywood Reporter. Next year's Oscar inclusion rules are already sparking debate. While the standards are well-intentioned, some producers say gathering data, ding, ding, is confusing and bumps up against privacy law. How are we going to know who's gay when it's illegal to ask? So, Felix, I'm going to ask you, are you offended? Are you gay? What if I said that to you when you came in? Like, I'm sorry, I really need somebody who's actually gay. I need you to act straight in the movie, but I really, in real life, I need you to be gay.
This is what's so difficult for me. This is what's so difficult for me, because I've been in this business since I was 17 years old, and I am gay. And I started out as a dancer too. And I have a feeling when I was younger, I probably even acted more gay than I do now. So when I would go to auditions, I remember, and I think I might have talked about this on something else with you, but that, I had agents tell me that, go to this casting person, do not let them know. Do not let them even get a clue that you're gay, or she'll never hire you for anything. This was in the 80s, and you could just never, you were never going to work as an actor if you were gay. That was just the way it was. And if anyone found out you were gay.
So like, now, my theory.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go
so
ahead.
To me, this is like so weird now, because now like, what about Harvey Milk being played by Sean Penn, who I think did an amazing job. I mean, it's about talent. It's not about racial, and it's about talent. Can you, Tom Cruise playing the guy in Rain Man, I guess he couldn't do that anymore.
Well, he's gay, isn't he?
Well, we don't
know that for sure. Well, he's a Scientologist. That's got to check
one
of the boxes.
It's true. And then you're supposed to ask people if they're gay or not. Well, you're not supposed to in employment practices. You're not supposed to ask people. How about ageism? Hollywood is the worst in ageism, and no ageism ever comes up in this diversity, equality, and inclusion stuff.
That's a good
Not
point.
one thing about ageism comes up. It's all about racial and sexual and, gender and all this other stuff. It's like, whatever happened to just being an artist and having an idea and bringing it to the screen or the canvas or something else? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the cool thing about all of it is that, like, you could, I mean, not really cool, but just funny, is that you in by their own terms could identify a certain way and then just sneak past the rules. Like, at what point does it come back to bite them because they believe in just identifying as whatever you want when you wake up? And so, and they can't research it. I mean, right? So if I just said, well, like, I am a man or whatever, and they're gonna, or
Right.
you're like, I'm a woman. I mean, they can't research it. They would find that to be
But you
offensive.
see, this is where Hollywood is so full of shit. Because, excuse me, sorry, could I say that?
Sure, the producers are all sleeping because they refused their nap time earlier, so now they're gonna be up until
Okay,
10 PM.
okay. But this
Okay,
is
go
where
ahead.
they're so full of crap because they're not about equality. Because you want to know something? They could have done all of their met all of their criteria and all of they could have checked all of the boxes, and I could check all of the boxes. But if they don't like me personally and don't want to work with me, let's say, they can just not have me back and say I didn't fit the role. So and it could be based on 10 million things that I have no idea they're based on. That's like when you audition for something, somebody could just not like you because they got the feeling you were gay or something like that and not want you for the role. But they're not going to say that. Do you see what I'm saying? They can say whatever they want about why they're not hiring or they are hiring someone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. No, I understand. Meaning there's just no way to
Okay, so in
prove it.
background, like when I did a lot of background towards the end before I left Hollywood, I was doing a lot of background. Well, they could say they wanted me. You could just piss somebody off on set one day, and the next day they could say that he's not appropriate for the next scene. We changed the scene. We rewrote the scene, so he's not appropriate. So we're not going to have him back. But it could be because I got pissed off at something I did on set or in holding or something. You know what I mean? Because one of the PAs didn't like me, or I gave somebody attitude or something like that. Then they'll just say, well, we're getting rid of him because he doesn't fit the role, or
Yeah.
or tomorrow we rewrote the scene tomorrow, so it doesn't. I'm
Mhm.
not making sense. I know it's
No,
just
I
so
understand what you're
complicated.
saying. More importantly, though, there's been a lot of comments about how you're wearing a camo hat. So I think you should probably tell people whose business that is that you're pimping out here.
Well, so this is Think Twice, which is Lynn Westford's Lynn
Westover.
Westover. Allie's husband's hat. He gave this to me when we all met.
That's his. Yeah, hold your head to the side so people can go to slcsquared.com. Right there.
Yeah,
That's my husband's human behavior class course. He trains law enforcement, but he'll train you personally
yeah,
so that you can spot all kinds of wacky behavior, especially if you're in Hollywood. Let's
yeah.
talk about what will happen if you're Hollywood and white. Okay. Listen, I hate to break it to you, but you're going nowhere with your life. It's over for you. If you live in Hollywood, you've been working in Hollywood and you're a white guy, you definitely need to go to morrowgold.com and protect your retirement because you're never working again. Okay. So go to morrowgold.com or call 877-646-5347 and make sure that you are protecting retirement with something besides your union SAG-AFTRA pension, because they're going to probably take that away from you too and make you pay reparations or whatever with it. So thanks to Noble Gold for sponsoring some videos this month. Really appreciate it. If you're thinking about switching your IRA over to gold, consider just giving them a call or going to morrowgold.com and asking some questions about what it would cost to sign up, what it costs to maintain, what it would cost to withdraw. Just asking some questions supports my work. So if you have already been considering doing this, consider doing it and say I sent you. Like I said, it'll help me even if you just ask them some questions and give them a chance to answer them for you. They've got almost 5 stars with both Consumer Affairs and their Better Business Bureau. They've been in business over 2 decades. And like I said, they are happy to sponsor my videos, which tell you something about them as a company. They are obviously very pro free speech. And with bank runs and a lot of economic uncertainty in the future, it's not a bad time to do this while also helping me bring people like Felix on. If you get in
Allie,
by the yeah.
they don't do just IRA conversions. They do everything, right? Coins and bullion and everything. Because I've been looking into this in the last month because I'm going to be buying
Yes,
gold.
they do.
Yeah,
It
so I'm
looks
going to
like
be
gold
buying
IRA,
gold.
silver IRA, gold coins, silver
Yeah,
coins, platinum coins, palladium coins, rare coins.
Yeah. And something really interesting to think about is there's a lot to learn about gold, you guys, a lot. And it is really important to have, and it's huge for what's coming. I think I've been doing a lot of research this month, as you know, Alison, because we found out about the bank run when we were when we were at your parents in
Florida.
Yeah. So the SVP,
Felix called 877-646-5347 and told him that Alison Morrow sent him. So go do it. Go do it before the end of the month. And I just want to make sure I say this right. If you have a qualified IRA of $50,000 or more, you will get a free quarter-ounce American Gold Eagle coin. And so, hey, there's that too. On top of it, I do want to say that the government assures me that I will not go to jail if I tell you that this is not financial advice. There's always a risk of investment. Hang on, I'm putting it back on the screen. And there's no guarantee of any kind. Gotta love it. But anyway, so go to morrowgold.com or 877-646-5347. Support my work and figure out what you're going to do with your life once you get kicked out of Hollywood. Okay, so Felix, let's go to this video because this is what we're going to
let's do that. And then I have some tweets from Kirstie Alley before she died.
Go ahead and say what her tweets.
Oh no, the tweet when this came up, and when was this? This was in September of 2020. Kirstie Alley tweeted, "I've been in the Motion Picture Academy for 40 years. The Academy celebrates freedom of unbridled artistry expressed through movies. The new rules to qualify for Best Picture are dictatorial, anti-artist. Hollywood, you're swinging so far left, you're bumping into your own ass." Which I love that. She doesn't mince words. But then she also then she deleted that just really quick. She deleted that. I deleted my first tweet about the new rules for Best Movie Oscars because I feel it was a poor analogy and misrepresented my viewpoint. I am 100% behind diversity, inclusion, and tolerance. I'm opposed to mandated, arbitrary percentages relating to hiring human beings in any business. 100%. I agree. I mean, you know, the other thing is about Hollywood, and as a kid growing up, this little Cuban kid in Northern California to these refugees' parents, it was like Hollywood represented that anyone, when I watched the Oscars every year, I would watch the Oscars and dream of being on them one day when I grew up. I swear to God, I was this little freak kid that just wanted to be in Hollywood and be in the business. It is the epitome of meritocracy. I mean, every time I watch the Oscars and watch the people who won and all of that, I would be like, oh my God, if they can do it, anybody can do it. You know what I mean? So this is what they're not getting. It's like, you don't have to force it. Hollywood, like America, is all about meritocracy. You know what I mean? If you work hard, like my parents taught me, if you work hard and you do well and you have talent, you will get to work in Hollywood. And guess what? I actually got to be on the Oscars. You know, I danced on the Oscars, and you know, it was a dream come true. But that was when was that? 1989. Was it 1989? Yeah, 1989. I danced on the Oscars. You know, there was none of this crap going on, you know, and it's just Hollywood is a representation of that. Anybody can make it. Anybody, you know. And what makes it even more special is when that Black person like Halle Berry won the Best Actress, when that Hispanic wins the Best Director, when the Sidney Poitier won the first Black Best Actor, or Hattie McDaniel or whatever for Gone with the Wind. You know, that's what makes it so special, is that you can accomplish things and you don't need to cheat or have someone give you a preferential treatment. Just make it happen by perseverance and talent. And do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I just have to read this comment. I was gay until I seen Alison's channel the first time. Did you see this?
And then what happened? Wait, I don't get it.
Maybe, I don't know if this is, hopefully this is a dude, I guess, saying I was gay until I saw Alison's channel and now I like women or something.
Oh, he likes you. You mean you're hot?
Yeah, I'm gonna take as a mother, you know, whatever. My husband's in the other
Okay,
room, so
so
he's
just
watching
out
all
of
this.
nowhere, he just wanted to let us know that he's attracted to you.
Yeah, so whatever.
But do you
No,
understand
but
what I'm saying? That rant that I just had, it's like that's
yes.
Hollywood. Look at, I mean, I sat there. I remember when Cher won. Cher, Cher won a Best Actress Oscar. I mean, who would have ever thought? There are so many instances with people winning Oscars, and you're like, how the hell did they ever make it? You know, to
Yeah.
win an Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's like in America, the people that have become things and risen to the top in all the fields that you can possibly rise up to. It's all about the opportunities that everyone came to this country for, and everyone got into Hollywood, you know, not knowing they were going to make it. You know, from Marilyn Monroe, the sex bomb, to who would have ever thought Dustin Hoffman was going to make it? You know what I mean? When he was starting out. I mean, you've got all these different types of people that have made it in Hollywood through the history of Hollywood. You know, and
Let's
it just
play this. Let's play a quick bite at the beginning of this, all right? Here we go. Let me know if you can't hear it.
What I do love about it is that it shifts what we as an industry are saying is of value. We are saying that women are of value, people of color are of value, people who have not been represented enough in film are to be valued, and we are going to reward people who do that.
Okay, this is what I've always thought
that
about.
guy's so freaking annoying. The whole thing.
Hang on, let me just say this. This is what I've always thought about these new rules, whatever you want to call them, the new standards, the DEI stuff in Hollywood and elsewhere. That basically what they're admitting is that like they're racist, and or they were or something, and they like first off they project that on everybody else. Like everybody else has the same issues
It's
Hollywood
reparation.
did.
It's like reparations.
Yeah, like they're it's like confession through projection. They're basically saying that, yeah, okay, basically we were the racists and the whatever, and so we're gonna do this to make ourselves feel better. That's what I think it is.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's like taking the knee during BLM riots and all of that. All those white people that would take the knee or whatever. It's about punishing yourself for what you say we did to you. You know what I mean? It's about
Yeah.
it's about victims. Go ahead,
Well,
Bonner wine. I
let's do
haven't
this
had
real
wine in a
fast.
while.
Let's go.
I need to
Yeah,
get
let's
some.
just do wine real fast and then move on because you're definitely
I
going to need
know.
a drink if you watch the Oscars this year. You need to get some AlisonWinePromo.com, 50% off some amazing wines. And you know what? We don't even ask you when you go to AlisonWinePromo.com. We don't even ask you if you're gay. We won't ask you if you're black. We won't ask you if you're white. We will let you get drunk off of AlisonWinePromo.com, no matter who you are. We are like legitimately will take your money no matter who you are. So go to AlisonWinePromo.com, get some amazing Malbecs. They're all high altitude Malbecs. One's an extreme altitude Malbec, the one in the middle from almost 8,200 feet. It's also from Argentina's oldest vineyard, 200 plus years. And it's a handmade wine collection. So go check them out.
Do you think that they check all the boxes for the people that are picking their grapes and their wines? And you see what I'm saying? In Argentina, in the
I
Andes,
have a feeling the people at these vineyards in Argentina living in the Andes where it gets down to like minus 65
are they
degrees
going to
at
have
night, they don't
DEI there?
care. They just
I
don't
know
care.
that. But now am I supposed to buy Bonner wines? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can use this. I mean, it's just so retarded.
That's why you should get AlisonWinePromo.com because it's the unwoke wine. In fact,
Yeah,
look,
the
I wrote
unwoke wine,
Malbec here.
exactly.
Sustainable farming, hand harvested, limited production, and the one on the right, natural fermentation, named after the cowboys of Argentina. And you know those cowboys do not care about this stuff. So go get some AlisonWinePromo.com. Make my sponsors happy. Keep me in business. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this video because we're gonna watch.
Let's watch Viggo.
Yeah, whoever his name is.
Viggo Mortensen, who has won. I believe he's won the Best Actor, but he's a white straight man. Go ahead.
Well, and then so that means no one's going to listen to what he says. But okay, here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
And he's tiptoeing.
In the end, it's about exclusion, which is discrimination. I mean, just a recent example, there was a movie that I thought was excellent last year, a movie called 1917, that would not be eligible under these rules. I applaud the sentiment behind it and the idea behind it, It solves some problems, but it adds new problems that are not necessary. I don't think the root of exclusion and discrimination is the way to go.
I look at it as an opportunity.
Oh, shut her
Okay,
up.
what do you think?
to
What do you think
I
about what he
can't
said?
stand her. She is just so. I agree with him completely. And you noticed how careful he was being. And I do believe it's about exclusion. You know?
Well,
I mean,
is it
it's just not about
is
marriage.
it answering exclusion with exclusion? Basically, just going from one pendulum to the, it's just doing the same thing that they're complaining about, excluding
Say that again.
people.
Wait.
Is it just answering
Yeah.
exclusion with
Yeah.
exclusion?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is the thing, though. I've always said that, first of all, I mean, if we applied this to history, we would, I mean, all the artists would be wrong. All of the art that we go and look at in the Louvre and everything would be wrong and unwoke, and we should ban it and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like art is messy and artists are messy. And, you know, you're trying to apply these rules to art, and it just goes against it. It's the antithesis, I think, of art. Art is whatever the artist wants to express. So whether that be the director or the writer, don't tell me that I have to write a script and why isn't that lead character black? You know, well, I didn't write it that way. I didn't think, oh, let me make a movie with a lead character that's black. I didn't do that. But you're going to make me consider black people for that role? You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me what to do. That's the whole thing. Don't tell us what to do, you know? And if it doesn't work, then don't go see it, you know? But we have all of these movies. Haven't we had all of this representation in look at Hollywood and the movies they've made. They've made black movies. They've had black exploitation movies. Remember in the 70s, you know? I mean, do whatever. I know that I'm not being clear, but they're just complicating things so much. Just let art be art and let people do their work and let the cream rise to the top, you know?
I'm trying to find the Jennifer Aniston so we can just switch really fast to here. Let's see if this will work.
Oh, God. I know I'm all over the place today. I feel very unfocused. Sorry.
Here we go. Jennifer Aniston saying there's a whole generation of people, kids, who are now going back to episodes of Friends and find them offensive.
Or Seinfeld. Same thing with Seinfeld. You know? And those were brilliant shows that couldn't be made anymore, but they're still brilliant. I still watch Seinfeld, and it's like, it's genius. It's genius because it's real. And it's what we all do and how we all behave within our groups of people and within our cultures and within our families and within our clubs and our cliques and all of that. That's life. That's the way humans are. It's human nature. And you're trying to correct something that doesn't need correction. I mean, you shouldn't be a racist asshole, period. Just don't be a racist asshole. Now, can we move on? You know, but they're trying to force us to implement it in ways that don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Leave me alone, you know? And if I make a movie and it didn't meet all that criteria, then it's going to bomb, isn't it? Or if it's going to be so great, but then you're not going to nominate it for an Oscar. But everybody thought it was a great movie.
Go over to AlisonMorrow.locals.com if you're watching this somewhere else. Sign up on my editorial board, $5 a month. Go one-on-one with the most censored people on the internet. Thanks everybody who's in the live chat over there, and thanks for everybody who's already supporting me over there. We are probably going to have a live birthday party this weekend for my horse Sassy, who turns 30. She was born when I was 11, so I hope you'll be there for it. Locals gets exclusive content that you don't get anywhere else. So
are we done? Are you?
We're almost done. I was going to ask you.
I don't know. I just feel like we didn't really make any. I didn't feel like we made any good. I didn't feel good about that, Alison.
You want to redo it?
I'm just so pissed about all this as a gay Hispanic person of color.
You can't. No. Hispanic and person of color are not two different things. You can only get one. They're one thing. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to check.
Oh, it is. I can only check out. Okay.
That is person. You're gonna have to find something else.
Oh, first
let me go back to
generation
the list.
American.
Let me go back to the list. We'll see what we can find. We'll see what we can find. All right, hang on.
It's just, I just feel like it's just annoying and grating, and it's just like, Dean Cain said this. How about just worrying about making a good movie? You know, how about just worrying about making good work, just doing good work? Whoever comes to the table to make that happen.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
I gotta say, this is one of my favorites. That you don't just have to be deaf; you can just be hard of hearing, and that. Like Lynn, my husband, would qualify for this. He just doesn't listen to me. You know, it could be one or the other, but anyway, he would definitely fit in this category. So you could be that. You could add that to your.
By the way,
you could be hard of hearing.
By the way, he's not hard of hearing. He's
just with
not
me.
listening to. I was there.
Lynn just came in. Lynn just walked in my room.
I
my
was there. I
office.
remember. He heard you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I can fit you in any other categories other than that, Felix. So you only get 2.
Wait, I can only fit in 2 of these categories?
Yeah.
Hispanic, Latinx, Latin.
Your ethnic group and gay.
Latinx. You know, I mean, you know, the other thing is, if you go to each and every one of these groups and ask them in general, they'd all be like probably against all this. Because again, it's like the transgender movement, all that. It's this little squeaky voice or the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. But the majority of people do not believe this shit. You know what I mean? They really don't. I really don't believe, just because I know this. I mean, I know this from being a gay person, and this whole trans and groomer thing, is that these are such small little subcultures of our communities that are screaming about all this and getting all the attention, that it's not the majority. Does that, yeah? You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I agree. Like my old TV station, they did this whole, I think they're still doing it, like series on race and confronting race or something like that. And the comments on the YouTube channel are almost all negative. They're almost all negative. People are just so over it. And I'll never forget watching one of my old colleagues. Basically, like they did a teaser at the beginning of the larger video, you know, the longer video of just like these quick clips for why you should watch. And he's white, and he goes, "Yeah, was my dad racist? Yeah." And he's just like, I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, he just, you know, your dad's just selling your dad out for the ratings, dude. You know, like nobody.
Yeah.
And why do we even care? You know, at the end of the day, like I just,
well,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
how about Colin Kaepernick, that came out and threw his parents under the bus, 2 white people that adopted him, you know, and then threw them under the bus, saying that they were racist. You know, just recently when he released his book, right?
I think.
Don't you remember?
Don't you remember
this? Yeah. Like 2 weeks ago, Colin Kaepernick came out, and these were 2 people that gave him the life that he knows, basically, and he threw them under the bus to sell his book. Yeah,
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to maybe get this Inside Edition thing to go away here.
But
yeah,
there
he accuses white adopted parents of perpetuating racism in their household. Yeah. I know my parents love me, but there were still very problematic things that I went through. I think it was important to show that, no, this can happen in your home and how you move forward collectively while addressing the racism that is being perpetuated. For instance, revealed that when he had cornrows as a child, his mother said, "Your hair is not professional. You look like a little thug."
Yeah, and guess what? There's also Black people who think that and thought that at that time when Blacks were doing those hairstyles, until it got mainstreamed. You know what I'm saying? It did come from the street and thugs and gangs, and then it was appropriated by the culture, you know, the wider culture. You know what I'm saying? But it did start in those environments, and I can understand his parents saying that to him. You know,
in my newsroom. I don't remember if it was like a struggle or not, but I remember when Black women started changing to like natural hair, which I think is totally fine. Obviously no problem with that. But and that was something that just kind of came and went, that wasn't really like, there was no conflict around that. However, one thing that I remember very specifically did become a contentious point, which like for me, not, because I was an environmental reporter that was rarely ever in the station, but I remember hearing about this stuff that, like for instance, there was a crime at some point. The police were investigating a hate crime where somebody drew a racial slur, or like spray painted a racial slur. It was the N-word on a restaurant. And the whole debate among the coworkers of mine, depending on what side you were on, was, can you say racial slur, which is what the management wanted to say, and the folks who wanted to say the N-word, because they felt like saying racial slur was basically whitewashing the word, and you should say the
Well,
N-word.
you're not supposed to say whitewash. That's another problem.
Yeah, that was racist. Well, I mean, no, essentially that's what they meant. Yeah, I mean, like, you were making it, you were making
But that's
it
not
easier for
that's
white
not the
people
term of
to
whitewash.
stomach.
Doesn't mean that you whitewashed it, like, because you white people washed it. Do you know what
No,
I'm saying?
I mean, basically that is kind of what they were saying. I mean, basically
I know, but
making it,
whitewash, where does whitewash come from?
I don't
Whitewash is
know.
whitewashing something. Whitewashing is you whitewash a piece of wood. Isn't that originally where whitewash comes from? But now if you use it talking about a racial slur, now you're saying whitewash. You know, do you see
I'm
what I'm
missing
saying?
it. No,
You're
let's talk
missing the
about it off
whitewash?
air.
Okay, we're going off, but I
Let's
think
talk about it off air.
somebody will comment on that, I'm sure. But anyway,
Anyway.
so what they wanted to use the N-word to make it more, to hit home more?
Not to actually say that word, but to say literally the N-word. That's what they wanted to be able to say, the N-word, instead of saying racial slur. They felt like you should say the N-word. And I remember my boss was like, no,
Because
we're
what,
not
they
going to say
wanted more
that.
shock value?
No, because I guess what the idea was, like, that you're making it more palatable for people, and you should show people how racist everybody is by telling them what the word was. Basically, instead of just saying racial slur, it could have been anything. They wanted you to say the N-word so that people will know, like, that was the word. Basically, because it needs to be in folks, faces, like, at home. You can't just feel okay about it being any word, any racial slur. It has to be this. So, I mean, I don't know what people think about that, but I honestly, I don't really know if I have an opinion on that one. I wasn't in the meetings where they're arguing it out. But I just remember that being like, that was so anyway, just like the appearance thing, going back to what we were saying, actually my station really wanted, I think, appearance to change. They liked, the idea of, all of a sudden, I don't know if it was like this before, but when I was there, like, they liked the idea of everybody, looking a certain way. They have very little, in my opinion, like, regard for how people think. So when it comes to being a journalist and having a diverse sort of array of people who have somewhat heterodox ideas about the world, so that your newscast reflects that, they don't really care about that. They care that you look different. So that was totally great. So, natural hair or whatever, like that's fine. But, I just remember, like, the terminology being something that we're not going to go down that route. I don't know. Anyway, that's just where things were when I quit the TV business. I don't know where they're at now.
You want to know what this all comes down to?
What?
People have way too much time on their hands, and they're doing all the wrong things with all that time. And we're getting into all these, sorry, my laptop keeps, we're getting in, it's just people just need to get a life. They need to get a life and stop trying to worry about all this. This just seems so unimportant. All of this stuff seems so, like, just get a life. You know what I mean? Get a life and just live your life and stop worrying about all this crap. It's just like, we're just trying to, it's all distraction, and we're trying to find all of these, it's just noise. It's just all noise. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, I think, and that's probably a good place to end it. There was somebody on ROKFIN that's
Great.
like, basically, this is all what we keep arguing about, so that, there's
Yeah.
so that nobody pays attention to, like, the real stuff that really matters. So thanks
Thank
for
you.
watching this useless live stream, everybody. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
useless.
it.
It was useless. I'm sorry.
Go back to doing something important with your life. We'll see you next time.